Hey everybody, welcome back to another precision farming video. I want to talk about some things about the game that I've discovered since I started this series a little over 3 weeks ago on No Man's Land. And I also want to talk about the crops. What is the best soil type overall? From what I had first discovered, I thought was correct is actually not correct. The game is a little more simplified than I imagined, because I looked up crops in real life to see the definitions for their soil type needs based on what farmers have discovered over the years and years and years of knowledge. And, of course, that's available to the public. So before I made these videos, I did a little research. And with that being said, there's some differences in the game than there are in real life for a farming simulator. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. The game is doing its best to make the game realistic, but also provide a little bit more fun to the game so that it doesn't get monotonous or boring. So the game is what a person makes it. It is up to us as players to be motivated, be self-disciplined, to make the game the best experience for us the way our playstyle is. And everybody has a different playstyle, different rules that they like to live by, and it's up to us to enforce those rules and also give ourselves a little leeway to understand that sometimes a game is not going to perform like it's supposed to in real life. Even though it is a simulator, this game is doing quite well. And with that being said, I want to drive over here and get some fuel before my tractor runs out of fuel. Then talk about the different soil types that I've discovered playing the game that actually is best. If there's any previous videos on my channel you've watched, and I may have recommended the wrong soil type, but as long as if you follow the crop rotation plan that is given to us, you should have a good yield. Whoops. So that's filling up. Should be about $90. $80 in fuel. So let's go to the screen where the crops are. And the best way to talk about which is the best soil types, I guess, is to use this. This screen here, the prices screen from the markets, which I have set on normal difficulty, but that's not important. The important part is the soil type, and I want to use this to show us by the symbol. And we have wheat to start off with. It turns out loam is the best for wheat, and then we have barley. Loam is the best for barley. Oats, hands down, is going to be loam, but I'm not sure. It might do well on silty clay. Next is canola. Definitely loam, but the research says sandy loam is better. But for the game, I believe is best with the loam. It's a game. You got to think of it that way. Sunflowers. I did some research. I think it's loamy sand. But it turns out you probably might get a better yield for sunflowers on loam. That's what I've heard in some of the comments. I'm not sure, but that's up for debate. But loam, I believe, is the best for sunflowers. It seems loam across the board, which isn't necessarily true to real life, but for a game, that's okay. That's to be expected. But potatoes, I haven't tested it yet, and I have not found any silty clay, but I know potatoes, and you've got your sugar beets, your sugar cane there. Of course, you got cotton and then sugar cane. Your potatoes, your sugar beets, and then skip one, sugar cane. Silty clay, most I'm going to say, just because that's what the textbooks say. And that's pretty much it for crops. You can rewind at this part of the video, or I'll say it again real quick. We've got wheat, loam, barley is loam, oats, loam, canola, loam, sunflowers, loam, or loamy sand, I'm not sure. Soybeans, I don't think it matters, but I'm pretty sure loam is best. It seems loam is best for everything so far. And then silty clay for your root crops. What else is there to say? Oh yeah, I want to thank everybody for their comments. I want to thank everybody for their experiences that they've shared in the comments from my subscribers, and for maybe if anybody who's not a subscriber yet and has been following my channel and they've been leaving comments. I appreciate your questions and your experiences and your overall, support for this channel from everyone, regardless if you're a subscriber or not. But I think I have hopefully earned your subscription to keep you updated with precision farming and what I've found out for soil types, for the pH value for lime. I believe, from what I've heard in some comments from some players, that lime is not necessarily needed to be added so much. And so far I found out through 3 crop rotations so far that is holding true. I have not had to add lime yet. I know when Seasons was just Seasons, back before the DLC precision farming, it was, I believe it was every third crop we harvested we had to add lime. Well, that might not hold true anymore. We might not have to add lime so often, which is good. I guess that's more realistic than it is in real life. I guess the old version from Seasons, from what I've read in the comments, was not true to realistic as it could have been. I guess lime is actually not needed as often as the game makes us think to believe. And that may have all changed with this DLC, precision farming, which is good. Oh yeah, what else is there to talk about? When it comes to nitrogen being added into the soil, a lot of my videos have been talked about the seeder/fertilizers and planter/fertilizers, and I kind of gave them a bad rap, and I want to just comment and apologize for that. I think there is a reason for that. Maybe the fertilizers that also seed or plant at the same time are adding way too much to the soil. For example, the canola that I just harvested, which is in a previous video that was published before this one, shows that no nitrogen was taken out of the soil after the harvest, which is insane. I was questioning my own sanity when I falsely stated that canola does not take nitrogen out of the soil because that's the way the game was behaving. Come to realize after thinking about that, and I thought, wait, no, I've got proof, another video of canola actually taking nutrients out of the soil, and then I looked it up in the textbooks, and it says, yes, canola does need nutrients. It does indeed take nitrogen out of the soil. So that is when the rabbit hole started, and I started to give a bad rap to the seeders and the planters that also fertilize. That they're wrecking the game, that they're glitching out the soil. Well, that might not be the case, and they might be doing what is actually work as intended. And the developers are trying to steer us away from using those machines and focus more on oilseed radish, manure, and slurry as part of the game. And then I thought about that, and I said, wow, that if I focus on those 3 elements and just forget about seeders and planters that also fertilize at the same time, and instead just invest in seeders and planters that just straight up do it themselves and are larger because of that, and they cover a wider area, and then just focus on the other ways to add nitrogen to the soil, rather than these machines over here, which I'm about to drive up onto. I'm realizing that I'm focusing too much on these for my gaming experience. I'm focusing way too much. I'm relying way too heavily on the fertilizer that they're carrying inside, and because of that, my soil is getting a little bit wrecked, which is to be expected. You would think that would be in real life too. You've got to switch things up. You can't just add the same fertilizer to the soil every single time. The soil is going to reject it. Kind of like when the human body eats the same food all the time. If we eat way too much of it, the thought of eating that particular food gives us nausea. So we've got to switch it up. Much the same way with fields. We need to switch up the fertilizing type. So I need to get animals. I'm going to get cows next, and I'm going to be giving them straw to produce manure. And with that manure, I'm going to spread it on the fields. And I bet you my game experience becomes a lot more fun, and the immersion comes back. That's just been my problem. I've been focusing and relying too much on something, but not actually getting down to actually thinking about the mythology about it and thinking, hey, I need to take a step back and say, hey, maybe it's me. Maybe it's the way I'm using the game to have entertainment in such a way where I'm limiting myself to other aspects of the game that will actually open more happy doors, if that makes any entertainment value will be opened up and explored more by just changing my attitude towards it. Okay, what else is there to talk about with precision farming? Yes, there is more. I found out that I need to add more of these RTK, what do you call them? Hold on a minute. I noticed I didn't have enough of them. The thing that helps the workers do their job better. I gotta find it. Now I already have the RTK building itself. I also have the other RTK post, which I believe helps triangulate the worker to help it work, but there's also others that I wasn't sure if I should use or not. I already have that. Base station. No, I have the shed base station is what I have. And then I have this, the RTK station, which you place another part of your map which helps triangulate. But then I found out, because I didn't place these yet, I need to place these as well. And I think 3 of these would be nice, would actually help my workers. Because earlier I had a worker working over here. It is in a video on my channel where the worker got confused. It was trying, but I believe that's because I did not have enough of these. I'm going to put it right about here. That's a good one for this field, and it will also help with this field too, I think. And then I have this one over here on these rocks next to my solar panel, which I think will help, and I put it up high, as high as I could, which I think will help. If I should probably put one over here, right in the corner, as far as I can on the corner of the property that I own. That's good. So I learned that these do help. You need at least something, you know, that you got to think, how is this going to work? If I was an RTK station, where would I want to be in relation to my fields for my workers? That would make sense. Another one over here, but where it's going to be in a spot that makes sense, but it's also going to be out of the way so my tractors don't run over it. I think even though it's near this building, the signal might get blocked. How about over here near the water? Yeah, that's good. Next to the sawmill. Right about there. I like that. So that's important. So what else can we talk about with precision farming? $15,000 in construction. Not bad, not bad at all. It all helps. Turns out those are very useful, more than I realized, and I realized that I was losing out because I didn't pay attention. But I was watching another YouTuber's live stream and we talked about it, and I was like, oh, thank you. I didn't realize it. Thank you for bringing it up. I will make sure that I put that on my farm. So that's what I'm doing. And I want to share it with everybody else as well. So people, we as a community, are learning about this DLC very quickly now, and everybody soon is going to understand it and know it hands down, everything about it. And I'm glad to help. I'm glad to be a part of it. And I'm really thank you for all the subscribers. And I hope I've earned your subscription for those that have been watching that have not subscribed yet. I will continue to bring more content as it happens on the precision farming along with seasons here on the No Man's Land map. And I'm having fun. I'm having fun taking this all in, and I'm embracing it as an experience. Even though it is kind of spooky and kind of scary sometimes, things are not happening like they should in real life, but that's okay. The Farming Simulator 19 universe has its own quirks, has its own anomalies, different from our universe here on planet Earth. And that's what's kind of fun. I'm looking at it in that aspect, and now I'm actually starting to actually have entertainment. Like you said, it's all about, as a person, how we make the game for us. So now, I'm going to focus more on getting slurry and manure and then spreading it out on the fields, and I bet you my nitrogen glitches and all my strange anomalies that have been going on will subside, and the game will become a little more normalized. I believe the developers are trying to get us to steer away from relying so heavily on fertilizers that also plant, that also seed at the same time, and I think that's a good thing. I really do. So I think I was wrong before. I was too quick to snap judgment on those machines about, you know, that fertilized and planted or seeded at the same time. And I want to thank everybody for their continued support. Keep the questions and the comments coming. Your experiences, what you've experienced in your game while playing, I want to hear about it. Like I said, I do make sure to read all comments. I really do. No matter how long they are. I appreciate it. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to cover? Because this is basically an update for all the videos that I've been making. This is an update. And I think the most important one was the soil types for the crops and the, you know, types and the seeds when planting and seeding aren't necessarily true to real life. And it seems like loam is hands down, you can't go wrong with loam. But I'm curious because I've got a soybean crop growing over there, which I promised from other videos. As you can see it off in the distance there, I'll drive towards it. I've got soybeans growing on loamy sand. And I promised I would plant it on loamy sand to see what the yield would be. And 3 weeks ago, I had said maybe I get a really giant harvest from it. But the ratio is 1. Soybeans is now always at a ratio of 1. Sometimes maybe it might be a little less. Sometimes it might be a little more when it comes to crop rotation. For example, the crop rotation planner. Boy, this video is getting kind of long. I did not expect to talk about all this, but I guess I needed to. See, on rotation plan B, the ratio is 1. With precision farming, the ratio of 1 for soybeans holds true. It might be more have to do with soil type. And from what I've read in the textbooks, soybeans like a well-drained soil, more of a loamy soil is what the textbooks say, and that's what this is. It's, as it saves, we're going to go to the screen for precision farming. Now the textbooks say soybeans like a loamy soil. So the only loamy soil with a Y on the end is sand. But I wonder if it meant loam as in loamy, like loam itself being a nice compact soil. So, you know, that comes into play too. I'm sure we've all looked up for seeds and soil types, what is best, as we've played this game. And that's what I've done too. So I hope it doesn't rain today. It's not supposed to, but you never know, it could rain. So I need to get these hay bales collected. For some reason I got this scary feeling in the back of my mind it's going to rain today. But not for a while. But you never know, sometimes you do get just thunderstorms that come out of nowhere. I've seen it happen. Actual thunderstorms with lightning and everything. And there'll be like a thunderstorm icon with lightning in that weather icon there on top. I've seen it happen. Only once though before. Only once. It was in late summer with the same geo I'm working with right now on the Felsbrunn map though. That was the difference. And then one day all of a sudden it wasn't in the forecast. It just started actual lightning and thunder. It was very cool, and I've only seen it happen once. What else is there to talk about with precision farming? I think I've covered everything. I think I've covered how my gaming experience is going to be changing for the better by focusing on different types of ways to add nitrogen to the soil and not rely so heavily on the seeders and the planters. And instead invest in seeders and planters that just seed and plant only, and that's all they do. There's no fertilizing application required. Yep, that's about it for now. I hope my videos have helped everybody over the last little over 3 weeks now. I've been doing this series. I think I started around December 9th is when I started. So there'll be more to come. Definitely more videos to come after this. I'm getting cows soon. Definitely. Cows are coming very soon. Those will be next. That'll be exciting. But I need to save up for it. It's going to cost, I bought a total investment for cows if I get the cow pasture that comes with No Man's Land. It's plus the tractors, plus the total mixed ration maker, that mixer, plus a couple other things I'm sure. It's about a $400,000 investment right off the get-go. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Everybody take care. Have a good day, and have a great one as well.